Hmm. Oh yes, we're actually. It's not. It's not a small miracle that we are, or at least that I'm still alive after this weekend. We had a heck of a weekend. It was a super success, but a little stressful getting there. But it went amazingly well. Grayzone did Icarus Fest, sellout overflow audience at the Williams Center in Rutherford, New Jersey, featuring an all-star lineup of amazing speakers and panels. We had people speaking from Norway and Serbia, and people came in from all over the country, and it was a tremendous success, and it went flawlessly. But if people had seen behind the scenes leading up to it and during, they would have been pretty impressed. So your boy here led a panel on the Ukraine war and then ran a restaurant that night for the VIP dinner. It was actually a lot of fun after the stressful part was done, and the dinner was a blast. We had a great time, and yes, and I think the Grayzone was well served, so we are quite happy. Did you have a good time?
Absolutely, yeah. You were in your element there at the dinner. You were.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, hopping around. It was
totally true. I love serving people. What can I tell you? I just do. That was my first career goal, was to be a bartender when I was about 10 years old. I used to get my comic books at a liquor store, and they had this little what was it? Southern Comfort used to put out these little like drink recipe books that you could get for free at the counter at the liquor store. This is when kids could go into liquor stores, I guess, because I could, and I got my comics there. And I used to take home those little recipe books and thought about making drinks, making old fashions and Manhattans and Mai Tais. And I don't know why. When I was like 10 years old, that was my thing. And ever since, I've loved to pour wine, which I did a lot of, and make drinks and serve food and make food. And so it turned out that's what I had to do at the last minute because we had some issues with staffing, etc. But yeah, it all went great. I think everybody had a great time. And we'll see what next year brings. I have some ideas.
The panels are up at the Grayzone. If you want to go to the Grayzone's YouTube channel, if you weren't there to see them, the first panel is under session 1, and then the next 2 panels are continuous session under session 2. So the Israel panel with Sabby Sabs is there, as well as the Judge Knapp panel on domestic policy and the Trump administration.
Michael, can you turn up your gain? I think you're a little low.
Oh, check. Let me
just me
get a little closer.
Is Michael low? Is Michael low to other people?
I might have been low, but check.
You're low in my ear.
I'm looking at the levels.
Chat, can you help us? Does he sound equal to me in audio power, not otherwise?
My levels look equal here. I look louder than you.
You look louder than me.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, anyway, Melinda, sound is fine. Okay, fine. It's fine. I can hear you. Yes, equal. Thank you. Melinda watched the live stream throughout. Oh, well, we've had more than 40,000 people have watched the video so far on the Grayzone channel, and that's the best place to go. But Sabby Sabs posted the Palestine panel on her channel, and that's gotten something like 30 or 40,000 too already. And we had thousands of people watching around the world live all day. It was pretty amazing. Yeah. So yeah, we ended the empire. Judge Knapp was there, Judge Napolitano, phenomenal moderator of the final panel. Sabby Sabs, as I said, moderated the second panel on Palestine, and I moderated the first, and it was truly tremendous. So,
yeah. The second panel ended right where I wanted it to start, where they just started getting into the real politic of what do you do now that the situation is so messed up there. And yeah, we had a lot of communists over, we had a lot of libertarians over, we had a huge diverse crowd of people, and I want to know what you think of this, but if I were to advise anybody to get into politics, what they should read, Vladimir Lenin and Henry Kissinger. That probably covers all your bases right there, right?
It's an excellent start.
Yeah.
Sure. You'll certainly know a lot about the 20th century just from those two. Yeah. Well, why do you say?
Vladimir Lenin for how to take over a system, and Henry Kissinger for how to work within the system. And
no, and Henry Kissinger for how to demolish the system that Lenin set up.
Yeah, the other way around. I get you. Yeah, from abroad. Yeah.
Whatever.
How to nuke it. Yeah.
Lenin's like, here it is, and Kissinger's like, there it goes, and that was the 20th century. I mean, a few things happened along the way there.
Yeah.
A few million deaths, etc. Yeah. The bad part about Icarus Fest this time is that Layla, our beloved Layla, turned me on to nicotine. So here we are. I'll be vaping during the shows now, guys, and just want you to know it's legal. I mean, it's just nicotine. We do the hard drugs in the after show.
I gotta say, Zins, your pouches, vapes, and cigarettes have ruined the image of the great plant that is tobacco. Tobacco is a plant. It comes from God. Cigars and pipes built Western civilization. They built this country.
Michael was smoking cigars from the time he left Indiana until he arrived back home in Indiana. Yeah, it was great. We had all sorts of products going on.
Exactly.
So let's boy. Let's do some news, man. And you said the Palestine panel got ended too soon for you. It actually went overtime, but you're right.
It went overtime, yeah.
But they should have gone long. They should have gone longer because I wish they could have gone longer because there was more to talk about. So let's do that because we haven't actually talked about Gaza that much lately. And now is a massive turning point that is terrifying me because today I heard the war plans. I heard the basic war plans from Jonathan Conricus, who was on a podcast. He was the spokesperson for Netanyahu basically as of a year ago. And now he works for this Israeli think. They pretend not to be, but it's an Israeli think tank called the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, which is the most hardcore Zionist neocon think tank there is. And today he was on their podcast laying out the plans for it's called Gideon's Chariot 2. Gideon's Chariot was the name of the original operation in Gaza, the ground war in Gaza. This is the new plan, which I guess I don't know exactly when they're going to launch it. I know they've been assembling the tanks and the troops around Gaza City for a while now, but they're going to invade Gaza City, which has been relatively unbombed. I think there's more buildings and infrastructure in Gaza City than the rest of Gaza. So they're going to go in to finish that off. And the plan, as Conricus laid it out, which again, it will happen at any moment, I suppose, any day now. They are going to warn the residents to leave, tell them to evacuate, and, quote, when a sufficient number do, they will then, because Conricus said, get this was amazing. He said, well, the appetite among Israelis to send their sons into battle again in Gaza City is not so great, so we're just going to bomb Gaza City relentlessly. He used different words, but it's going to be, sounds like it's going to be along the lines of Dresden, Hamburg, and Tokyo, in terms of, I just can't. I just can't. We are now, this is it. What is this? The grand finale of mass murder, but it's looking that way. If this isn't stopped, and I do think there's a chance it will be stopped one way or another. God, I hope so, because this could be, believe it or not, everybody, the bloodiest, deadliest chapter in the deadliest, bloodiest thing we've ever seen. So we have that to look forward to. Thank you, Israel. I can't. It's stunning. And actually, the IDF protest didn't want to do this. I think they're still absolutely protesting, and that's why there's going to be so many bombs dropped, because they don't want to go in on the ground.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go in on the ground either, because the Hamas fighters, the Al-Qassam brigades, are kicking their ass, jumping out of tunnels and dropping bombs inside their tanks and running away. They're actually amazing guerrilla fighters, and the IDF it's an impossible task actually for them to really take out Hamas conventionally on the ground, I should say. So the plan is to bomb Gaza City flat, and then I think they didn't say this, but I think they're going to then try to flood the tunnels, pour concrete into the tunnels. All these things have been discussed. I wouldn't be surprised if they put some poison gas in the tunnels, but they have to then figure out a way to just flush out the Hamas fighters who are down there. As I said at Icarus Fest at the Grayzone, and people can watch this, and it actually, even among the Grayzone crowd, it was a little bit of a provocation, a little radical for them, but it's just an analysis. It's a historical analysis, which is that the Vietnam War did not end because people like me and the Grayzone, the anti-war movement, protested in the streets. No, the anti-war movement started in 1963. It became a massive in 1965. It became super massive by 1968. So there were millions of people in the streets in 68, 69, 70. When did the war end? 73 was when the withdrawal happened, and it didn't formally end until 2 years after that. Why did the war end? Why did the United States withdraw from Vietnam? It wasn't because of the anti-war movement. It was because of the Viet Cong. The Viet Cong defeated them in the field. And this has been the case. This was the case in Iraq. Did the United States, it took us how many years? 20? They never left Iraq, right? But even the war wasn't really ended for many, many years after. There was a massive anti-war movement. It was the resistance. It was the people with the guns who came in from many other countries and from Iraq itself and fought the troops in the streets. Same with the Taliban in Afghanistan. They won the war. The Taliban won that war by continuing to fight and making the price too high to pay for the U.S. empire to continue. And it's the same as here. The same is true here. And I said, whatever you think of these forces, whatever you think of these people, the only thing at this point that's going to stop Israel and the U.S. empire in the Middle East is the armed resistance of Hamas, Hezbollah, the state of Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Houthi government in Yemen, etc., and all the axis of resistance across the Middle East. It's going to be guys with guns, because that's how we're fighting it. We're not fighting it by trying to be nice and talking our way through it and negotiating. Obviously, we've always been using guns to do this, and we have to be defeated. And it's a good thing, I guess, that the United States has been defeated again and again and again for the last 50 years. And that's why the empire is receding. But don't kid ourselves. I wish it were about up down to, whether we protest enough in the streets. But just look at Palestine. How many protests have there been in the last 2 years? How big have they been? They've been the biggest I've ever seen in my life, and they've been in every city in the world. So, and where are we now? We're now about to enter the extra super ordinary killing phase. It's just gotten worse in Gaza. So all power to the Al-Qassam brigades, because that's the only thing that's going to stop this. That is the only thing that's going to save those children. That's the only thing that's going to stop the wanton destruction of those human beings in Gaza. Tell me if I'm wrong, everybody. We have to be on the side, in this case, of those fighters.
Okay.
No,
This is what
no.
I was getting at a little bit last week and 2 weeks ago. And this is a little bit from Kissinger. My theory of how the Vietnam War ended was Kissinger and Nixon saw that the Vietnam War was a proxy war against the Soviets. And they did a long strategic de-escalation, a détente with Russia, and then opening relations with China to negotiate a withdrawal that all parties would agree with. And Nixon didn't want anything to do with Vietnam. It was a mess that he inherited. But I think ending the war is something that is done diplomatically by parties that see that it's bad for the empire, parties within the empire that see that it's bad for the empire.
But they only do that. They only do that once they've been militarily defeated, though. It's only bad for the empire once they've been defeated, or at least the resistance, the armed resistance, has made, as I said, made the price too high to continue. Right? I mean, that seems sort of obvious to me. If you look at, you can include Korea too, right? It was the resistance of the North Korean communists, aided by the Chinese, of course. But it was the fact that they were fighting the U.S. on the ground and winning as much as losing, making the price too high. 50,000, I think, U.S. soldiers were killed in Korea. And then Vietnam was the next stop, the next lesson. And then Iraq, and then Afghanistan, as I said. In each case, the United States was essentially defeated. They were never able to hold that territory permanently. And they were driven out by guerrillas, often guys in sandals and barefoot. I mean, the guys in Gaza right now, they look a lot like the Viet Cong. Half of them are wearing sandals. It's kind of amazing. And yet they are defeating, essentially, in the field, one of the most sophisticated militaries in the history of the world, which is armed and backed by, of course, the most powerful military in the history of the world. So I just don't know what else to say. I mean, sure, keep protesting and keep talking on our podcast about it, and which I will do, but I don't think it's going to stop this war. Israel has to be defeated in the field, ultimately, until the U.S. pulls out, right? Until somehow the U.S. is convinced that it's not worth. And the reason the U.S. will stop arming Israel is when it sees that the price is too high, which it's getting close to, because of the armed resistance. So there you go.
Yeah.
Ho Chi Minh.
Yeah. Hanoi Thad over here.
Hanoi Thad. Does this mean I want Sharia? Does this mean I have anything good about the Viet Cong or I mean, I'm an anti-communist. I have nothing interesting. I have nothing of interest in Islamism for me. Of course, I could give a shit. I want the American empire out of these places for my own selfish reasons. I want to stop funding it. I want it to stop endangering my life and the life of my son. I want it and all the damage it does to the world. And I want to stop killing people across the world on my dime in my name. And the only people who are going to do that are those fighters in those tunnels, in those sandals, and those Adidas tracksuits, holding giant bombs and running up to tanks and dropping them inside the tanks and running away. It's a phenomenal thing. And but I don't see any other way.
There is the potential that you do just firebomb Gaza, that happens.
No, they're going to do that. That's what's coming. But there will still be some fighting on the ground. They're not going to be able to kill. They won't be able to kill no matter how many bombs they drop. All the Hamas fighters will still be underground. So then there's going to be some sort of fight. Now, will they be able to kill them by injecting things into those tunnels? Maybe, but they haven't been able to do that so far. I don't see why they'd be able to now. So it's going to be firefights in the streets of Gaza City. This is going to be so unbelievably horrendous. And I mean, the people of Gaza have shown a dogged reluctance to leave their homes, right? And they've also been very eager to return to the homes as soon as they were allowed to. And so, sure, they're being told to evacuate, I guess. They certainly know that this is coming by now, since everybody in the world knows it's coming. Will they leave? Will all of them leave? No, there's no chance. And I'm sure there will be a significant number who stay. because apparently that's just the way it is. People like to not leave their homes, especially when historically they've been displaced from them by the invading army that's coming to try to kill them. It's a thing among Palestinians. It's weird, but completely understandable. The Palestinian story is so American. I'm waiting for Americans to pick this up. I mean, it's cowboys and Indians, but the Indians are the good guys, and we like the Indians in certain cases. And this is one of those cases. It's very much Red Dawn. It's very much American Revolution. It has all sorts of resonance in American history. The resistance of the Palestinians to the colonial power of the Zionists, aided by the British originally, and who began the whole thing was the British. The British and the Zionists in tandem colonized that land and then dragged us into it and have attached us to this giant sinking rock known as Israel. It's a fucking funeral pyre. The video that I just saw, in fact, Max Blumenthal, I think, posted it. It was just a room full of dead bodies, and these were all like young men. And it was like the fourth floor of some apartment building, so it couldn't have been Hamas. They have no business being up there. And there were no guns. There were nothing. But it was just corpse after bloody corpse, heads blown off, limbs everywhere, blood everywhere.
No, there's those journalists killed on air at that hospital.
Yeah. Right. Well, you know what? Do you know what the official explanation is by the IDF? They were pointing their cameras at them.
Their assault cameras.
That's what they're saying. The soldiers who opened fire, who sent in, I guess it was an artillery shell. I don't know what it was. They saw men pointing cameras at them and took those to be guns. Now, the harder thing to explain is why they then bombed the place again when the rescue workers showed up, which they did. The rescue workers showed up to evacuate, to take away these bodies. It was up on this scaffolding or like a fire escape. So it was like they're up in the air, like 3 or 4 stories up. Yeah, they hit it again and killed all these rescue workers. I mean, I don't know. Is it policy? So here's my position on genocide. Is it the official stated internally policy of the Israel Defense Forces and the Israeli government to commit genocide, to kill everyone in Gaza as efficiently as possible? No, I don't think so. I don't think it ever has been. But is there a significant percentage of these soldiers in the brigades of the IDF inside Gaza who are totally genocidal and do in fact want to kill every Palestinian? Oh, yes, we know this because one of those brigades is made up largely of settlers from the West Bank who are well known for being genocidal. They don't make no bones. They're proud of it. They don't care. They don't care about Western opinion. But we also know that many other just regular Israelis who aren't West Bank settlers also have had genocidal intentions, because we've seen them speak about it and act like it and fire their guns randomly into crowds, etc. So that's one level. I think that's a significant percentage. I don't think it's all. I think there are many IDF soldiers who are not genocidal and don't want to actually kill Palestinians particularly. But there's probably probably the biggest number I would bet within the IDF is guys who don't mind killing Palestinians, aren't going out of their way to do so, but are basically incompetent and very scared and fire into crowds, not because necessarily they want to kill Palestinians, but because they actually think they're going to get offed themselves. It's not an excuse. It's not one bit of an excuse. The state of Israel shouldn't exist as a Jewish state to begin with, and those soldiers shouldn't be there to begin with. But I do think that's mostly what's going on. Now, the effect is genocidal. This is why it doesn't really matter to me. It's clearly mass murder and ethnic cleansing. They clearly they're trying to push them out of Gaza, and they're clearly committing mass murder to do so. So to me, that's plenty. That's all I need to know. Mass murder, ethnic cleansing. It's enough for me to, oppose this thing. But I don't think, and I think this is where the pro-Palestine or whatever you want to call it side, and this now includes people like Pierce Morgan, so and Megyn Kelly almost, she's about to go there. I forget what I was going to say. It doesn't mean, I forget what I was going to say. Anyway, go ahead.
I was just going to say, imagine, growing up with the Israeli propaganda, growing up with the real psychological assault that is growing up in Israel, like what you're being told about who wants to kill you, and your whole origin is in the Holocaust of how you survived an extermination, and every single second that's going to happen if you're not 100%, 1,000% vigilant. And by the way, there are these Palestinians who will do it at the drop of a hat. Imagine having that propaganda and then being handed a gun and then overlooking a crowd. You're just skittish, and there's something just waiting to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been watching several sort of pro-Israel Zionist big shows, and one of the more remarkable things I saw was, I forget who it was. It wasn't Conricus, but it was someone like that. They were asked whether Israelis are aware of what's going on in Gaza. Do they watch the videos that we all watch? And the answer was this. This was, I think it was, gosh, who was it? It was Amit Segal or Ion Levy or one of these guys, but one of these major Israeli journalists who's like close to the government basically said they know what's going on because they know the history. They know what's going on because they know what happens when Palestinians start a war with us. They know because they know what goes on. In other words, he was saying they don't watch it. They don't pay attention. And I actually believe that's probably true for many Israelis. I bet they don't care enough to watch the videos. I think they have a sense, an abstract sense of it, that there's a lot of dead. I'm sure they're aware of the general numbers and the general destruction, but I don't think they watch the videos. I don't think they know the detail of the horror that is being shown to the rest of the world, which is the reason why most people in the world now hate their guts. And there's a lot of concern now among American Zionists, major ones, about this, that they're saying, this has been the last couple of weeks, by the way, like Dan Senor on Call Me Back, he's very worried about this, and he's trying to get his Israeli friends to sort of acknowledge this. He's now aware that Israelis just don't care, are indifferent to the fact that they are absolutely pariahs now. They are being banned from public spaces across the world. In France, they've been banned from several things. Like Israeli kids on like school trips to Paris were banned from going to some amusement park simply because they were Israelis, which I'm not endorsing either. I mean, I think that's completely, it's not racist, but it's a form of discrimination that's disgusting. I mean, I have Israeli friends who were anti-war, who were anti-Zionist even. So it's absurd, but nonetheless, that's what's going to happen. And that is what's happening. And Israelis themselves, by and large, seem to be indifferent to this and unaware of this. They're just heading for the biggest cliff in Jewish history. Could be. I mean, long term, the effects of this on Jewish people globally could equal the Holocaust. Over centuries, they're not going to live this. It's going to take how long? They'll never live this down. The state of Israel will never live this down. Never. I mean, this could be legend for centuries, and anybody associated with that state will be smeared as such. I mean, it will be equivalent in most of the world, not here. It already is equivalent to Nazi Germany, and having been pro-Nazi or even just a German in the 1940s. I mean, that's the way we think about those people is the way that most people in the world think about Israelis. And it's not going to change. Unfortunately, these motherfuckers have been calling themselves Jews and saying that they're doing it for Jews. And so so people who don't know any better, which is most people, will then think it's, me and my son and all the dudes named, all the Jews in America named, Barry and Larry and Moishe and Shlomo are equally culpable and responsible for killing all those children. It's the greatest blood libel in history, and Israel is going to reap the whirlwind. But unfortunately, I think the world Jewry, as it's been called, is going to suffer the most. Which, is good news for Jake Shields, because that's what he's going for. The real anti-Semitic anti-Zionists.
Yeah. Kind of too dark for me to comment on.
Okay.
And I don't want to.
Okay.
There is a path for Jews to have a better image coming out of this, but it involves a lot of apologies. It involves being okay with being the butt of jokes. It involves a grand decoupling from U.S. politics, and yeah.
Well, and from Israel, right? I mean, that's
yeah.
the main thing. I mean, Jews have to be, as I've been saying for months now, every Jew in the world should be actively renouncing Zionism and the state of Israel and having nothing to do with it, and permanently renouncing it. Not saying the problem is the government, the problem is Netanyahu, and this is a point that Sabi Sabs has made brilliantly, and she made it at Icarus Fest.
Yeah, it's a society. She
cuts right to the chase there. Thank God for her. You know, it's like, because even most people on my side of this they take a long time to say this, or they never say it. It's about Zionism. It's not even that Israelis themselves as human beings are inherently evil and want to kill kids. Of course, it's the ideology of Zionism and all the propaganda that's gone along with it, as you said, and that's an important point, forces them to be murderous. They have to be murderous. To be a Zionist requires murder. It always has. They knew that. They said this at the beginning. We're going to have to displace these people, and they're going to resist. So we got to do so with an iron wall, with a military. And it's just the most ridiculous ideology if you would think that if you like peace and safety and security. But yeah, Jews need to be, that's how Jews can save themselves. Now, you have to renounce the entire project of Zionism, not the current government of Israel. Right? Is that the way we're going to survive?
Not to be too provocative here, but not to be too provocative and too edgelordy here and too young Zoomer Nazi male on this, but my problem is concern for the welfare of Jewish people as a minority, as a persecuted minority, is what got us to Israel in the first place. And so there needs to be a decoupling of that narrative from people's consciousness if we are to move past this project and stop seeing them as the perfect, like the clean, unblemished victim that must always be protected, you know, that we're all guilty of, you know, they're just like everyone else is the way out of this. They're human beings just like you and me. They're not special. They don't need special protections. They just need equality is what they need.
And that's amazing because that's actually I would say, attitude of most Orthodox Jews, certainly in America, the Hasidim in particular. They live to themselves. They live on their own. They have very, very isolated communities within the United States. I strongly recommend people watch the series Unorthodox. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix. I think it is. Unorthodox. It's a great series. And it gives you a great look into the Satmar community in Brooklyn, which is one of the biggest and most important of the Hasidic communities. They're also anti-Zionist, although that doesn't come in to the show. But even the ones who are Zionist, they generally just stay completely to themselves, and they don't care what the Goyim think about them. And they don't care. They just want to be left to their own devices, that's the one thing I really like about Judaism as a religion. It's a particularistic religion. It's not universalistic, right? Yahweh is only concerned with the Israelites. It's not a universal thing. So it's not a universal God, I should say. So, which also contributes to their not caring about people other than Jews. That's the downside. So so long as they don't have a military, right? So long as they don't have a military, it's just fine to me. But when they have a military, as they do, then I think it contributes to their ruthlessness in their war fighting.
We've got a fun issue to move on to.
Let's do it.
A fun, just like classic civics class politics debate. Flag burning.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, Donald Trump is issuing a provocative executive order saying that he intends to prosecute those who burn the flag, a particularly sensitive act, something that represents prosecute them to the full extent of the law. I do think there's a semantics trap here that you have to be like arrested for something else before you get prosecuted further for flag burning. Flag burning itself isn't an offense, but if you get caught burning a flag and that action violates another law, we're going to throw the book at you. I'm telling you right now, don't do it. So you can get all legalese about this, but Donald Trump is going after burning the flag, and yeah.
From his perspective, which in this case is a nationalist perspective, it makes sense. Flag burning for a nationalist, flag burning should be illegal. It is tantamount to treason. And that's where even the Supreme Court has drawn the line on speech in the past, right? Not now, I get that. But during wartime, things like flag burning, just speech, right? Anti-war speech and anti-US government speech got you thrown in jail or deported or sometimes executed. But that actually makes sense, again, from a nationalist point of view. If you have the citizens, your own citizens of a nation, burning the flag of that nation inside that nation on camera for all to see, that is an act of, treasonous rebellion. It's symbolic, but it's no less powerful than throwing a Molotov cocktail at the White House. In fact, it's more powerful because what it says is, the people of that nation don't even believe in that nation. In fact, they want to destroy that nation themselves. Again, from a nationalist perspective, it makes sense. And all of this is to say, this is why, one of many reasons why I am not a nationalist. But sure, Donald Trump's own internal logic dictates this action, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, there's a question about sacred symbols and free speech in general. And we live in a post-civil rights era where there are hate crimes in the law, and people have been heavily prosecuted for burning their tires over LGBT flags that are painted onto the streets. People have been prosecuted. Enrique Tarrio was prosecuted for burning a flag, a BLM flag. Those charges were, he had the book thrown at him for that on January 6th. A black man, by the way. Yeah. So, and it's, you could go on and on and on about, like, for example, Shiloh Hendricks right now in Minneapolis, who got the GoFundMe after she yelled the N-word at some kid who was stealing apple juice from her bag.
Right.
She got hit with disorderly conduct, and she's getting the book thrown at her this week. So we live in a world where not all speech is protected, where we don't have a completely neutral grounds.
If they enforced that norm, that you can't say the N-word in public, right? If they really enforced that, like, legally, it would destroy hip hop.
Oh, I get you. Okay, but
there would be no rap music at all.
You can't yell it back in self-defense as somebody is committing a crime against you. Is kind of get the book thrown at it. Yeah.
Oh, that's when you can't say.
That's what the law is. You can't use it to say, hey, that person over there is stealing my bike. I don't like you.
Can you say don't shoot it? Can you say that?
It depends. It depends on the color of your skin, how the law will be applied to you.
Oh, it's about that? It's about whether your skin. Oh, I didn't know. It's about
yeah.
skin color. It's really about skin color, Michael. You think that this law has been applied unevenly because of skin color?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what the law is written down. The common social practice of how the law is applied enforces the social norms that create the legal framework that we live in. And so
you're saying we live in a racist country.
Yeah. Well,
so the left has been right. This is a racist country.
Yeah, and the left has made sure of that. The left has done everything in their power to make sure that it remains one.
Exactly. And they've done a pretty damn good job of it.
Yeah,
gotta say.
Yeah.
Every institution I've been a part of has been completely racist.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of many reasons I'm no longer part of any institution, especially higher education. Mm-hmm. Arguably, don't you think? You've been a part of higher education pretty intimately. You live in the major college town. You know about this thing.
Still am.
Is it? What's a more racist institution in American life? There isn't one. Mm-hmm. Is there? I mean, maybe some police, some little local police department somewhere in southern Missouri or something. I don't know.
Well,
but like even there, I mean,
it is like like the most morose funeral atmosphere right now, because everybody is like, we can't discriminate anymore. How can we can't discriminate? They'll come after us. How do we keep discriminating? What do we do?
Right.
Yeah.
How are we going to run a school where we just judge everybody by academic standards alone?
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to do that?
Yeah.
They've never done it, or at least not in my lifetime. They've never judged students and faculty by academic standards alone, ever. They're incapable. They're like, oh wait, we're supposed to like take into account the SAT and the GPA and the essay, and that's it. And then just from that, and when a professor like publishes 3 books and has a spectacular teaching record, that's all we need to know. You know, even if his name is Thad Russell and he teaches at Occidental College, he should just get that job in 2015 that they didn't give to me. Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna sue the fuck out of them someday. Yeah. This by the way, you know this is happening. Mm-hmm. This is there are a bunch of lawsuits going on. It's sort of subterranean now, but the treasuries of many universities and colleges in America are being emptied right now by people like me. And I just read about this and I was like, you know what? I'm about to jump onto that, because in 2015 I was actually approached by a lawyer. Mm-hmm. He was gonna put together a case against Occidental, and I didn't pursue it. I just didn't have the energy. I didn't know, and I didn't know if I was gonna win. He thought I was gonna win, and I probably would have won. What they do is they settle out of court. Yeah, they have these huge. So what he told me, and he used to work as the he was this finance guy at Occidental, and he left and became a lawyer to do this thing. He told me that basically every elite college and university in this country has a special fund set aside for settlements for discrimination cases brought by faculty and some students. Because faculty are like me. I'm not the only one. Faculty are getting fired and getting denied tenure and getting not hired for all across the country simply because they're white. And thankfully they're fighting back. So I'm going to join that. I'm going to sue the fuck out of them and get some money.
Mm-hmm. The other dimension to the flag burning thing is the 4D chess by the Trump administration on this, in that if you want to protest the flag burning executive order and you want to own Donald Trump on this, you got to go burn a flag. And so Democrats all over the country are going to be flag burning, or libertarians are going to be out there flag burning to prove how much they love free speech and they love freedom in this country. Mm-hmm. And your regular Cracker Barrel Americans who make up most of the electorate are going to look at that and say, these people are crazy. Wow, Donald Trump really did need to crack down on this. Look at how many crazy people there are who hate our country.
Yeah. Sorry, this is, probably not what you want me to say, but so to finish my argument about why flag burning should be outlawed if one is a nationalist, I can imagine people saying, well, America has always been defined by its adherence to free speech principles.
Yeah.
These, e.g., most importantly, the First Amendment. However, the Supreme Court, as I said, has many, many, many times carved out exceptions for that, in particular during wartime. And it always has to do with what? It has to do with the fundamental integrity of the United States as a nation state itself. Right? So they won't allow speech that threatens the very integrity of the United States as a nation state. And there is speech that threatens it, right? That could actually eventually break down the United States as a unified nation state, which is exactly why we should all burn flags.
Oh, to destroy the country, to destroy the fabric of society.
The United States should no longer exist. I thought I've made this plain here.
Mm-hmm.
In its current form. It should be broken at least into multiple parts if we want to save the planet, because we can't have this large of a country with nuclear weapons that's also a democracy, because our people, as I've said many times, are idiots, don't know anything about the world, and are likely to at any moment vote for someone who will send rockets with nuclear bombs across the globe. So we have to break up. The US doesn't make any sense. The United States makes no sense. 350 million people from San Diego to Maine to Miami to Seattle. Huh? What the hell do I have to do with people who live in the panhandle of Florida? And why are we in the same country together? And why do we get to vote about who is the president and the commander-in-chief of the nuclear arsenal? So yes, burn flags, reject nationalism, one of the youngest ideologies in world history. It's only a couple hundred years old. Nationalism. People think it's like people have always been attached to nation states. No, they haven't. They've always been identified with nations. No, they haven't. It's not been a thing until the 19th century. Ask any historian. As a sort of guiding ideology. So yeah, no, this is good. Let's have this fight, Donald Trump. You outlaw it, and the people that Michael Weimer is not so happy with, and I will go out and burn some flags because we want to take down this fucking country.
And then when you're in jail, and everybody, what happens next?
Always with your practical considerations. I'm trying to do good. I'm trying to be a hero, and you're just getting in my way. No, but I mean, of course, I'm sort of being like a little bit provocative and silly, but like, no, I mean it on a deeper level. This is what's going on symbolically in this particular fight. It's about ultimately, right? I mean, Donald Trump, his whole career, basically, political career, has been about that. It's been about the sanctity, the unity, the preservation of the United States of America as a nation state with its own particular national culture. And he thinks that's great. And I don't, as I think I spelled out. I think it's not just not good. I think it's extremely dangerous for the planet. So
for the planet.
Not with Donald. For the planet. Yeah. No?
Yeah.
Huh?
I guess my big divide has been I see any revolutionary movement to destroy the nation to be way more dangerous than keeping the nation running.
Okay. Let me say, did I say destroy? I said something worse. I said take it down. That's not what I mean. I meant just what's the word they're calling? What are they saying the neocons want to do to Russia?
Decolonize or
no, yes. But there's another one. Anyway,
they wokeify it. Yeah, decolonize.
Well,
but,
I mean, break apart is one way, but that sounds a little violent. So I don't, it just, I want
balkanize.
I just want California to have a referendum and vote to leave the U.S. and become its own independent republic, which is, I mean, that's been an idea, by the way.
Yeah.
And then I want Texas, and then I want all the other states.
That's fair.
And then California, we're too big too. I mean, we should be at least 2 nation states just in California. And then keep going after that. Oakland, San Francisco, Eureka, they should all be separate nation states as far as I'm concerned. And each one can do their own thing. You could have a little communist republic in Monterey, and you could have a little Nazi republic in Salinas. fine, next door. And the point is here that you get to choose which to live in. That's the great thing. Pluralism, diversity. This is true diversity. Break it apart, decentralize it, allow local autonomy, and the more nation states we have, the better. It's just so simple, especially in the era of nuclear weapons and democracy. I mean, again, think about this. Ignorant people in a democracy will vote for who? Anybody, which can include someone who will send nuclear weapons for no good reasons. The Republic of Berkeley coming up.
Yeah. I do believe there's an American tradition of federalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. That if you go to this nation's roots and the Articles of Confederation and you assert states' rights and you have creative ways of dividing up the states, we'll get a much better form of governance and take away power from Washington, D.C. as much as possible. I'm all for that. I do want to talk a little bit about New York City. Just because I went into the city on Sunday.
Was that your first time?
No, I played in the Macy's parade as a kid.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That doesn't quite count, but yeah.
It doesn't,
this is your first time as an adult, though.
Yeah.
Wow, that's right. You went to St. Patrick's Cathedral, right?
Yeah, St. Patrick's. But if you're really Catholic, the place to go is the Church of St. Francis on 31st Street by Penn Station in Koreatown. It's run by it's run by Franciscan friars.
Don't know about it.
I just stumbled upon it, but it's the longest operating bread line in the country. Since the Great Depression and before. And if the Franciscans, they live in total poverty. They're not allowed to own anything. They're not allowed to have insurance on anything. And they're the ones directly living the ministry. And it was really cool to see what they built there.
Do they proselytize as you're in line for soup?
I'm probably, I don't know. I've never been to a bread line, but
they might not. I wonder.
I'm not a Catholic one, but I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm not sure that they do. They used to. I mean, that used to be basically the price you would pay.
Yeah.
Instead of money, it was devotion.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you had to do. Or at least pretend to be devoted.
Yeah.
But I think
here's the thing about the Franciscans. The Franciscans, the thing is it's the poor who are close to God. So it's by being amongst the poor help you. You don't help the poor. So it's really, the poor are doing you the service of making you more holy. It's not about getting them to heaven. Yeah. So
I have such complicated feelings about that because, having been poor in my own life, I really, really, really appreciate them. And at the same time, I'm also a reader of Nietzsche. So I know that there's a trap being set for me.
Not a bad, yeah.
Well, not a trap for me necessarily, but a trap for humankind, which is the slave mentality of Christianity, which Nietzsche calls it, right? Where we celebrate the poor, where we exalt the poor, and where we seek to be poor. We valorize poverty, right? And living a poor life is good. Look at monks and nuns and Christian workers and Catholic workers, right? But thank God for them anyway.
Yeah.
God bless
and
them.
Then, you end up exalting weakness, and then
that's
your
it.
Whole
Thank
society,
you. Yes.
Your whole society becomes weak as a result. And
then woke.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a path there.
Thank you.
There's yeah.
Ooh. Look what we just did.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, bro. Did Christianity give rise to wokeness, Michael Weimer? I think it might have. Damn.
It's again, it's a heresy. It's a Protestant heresy. It's under the
what's a heresy?
Being woke. The wokeism.
Well,
there's
but I think they should own it a little bit. I mean, doesn't the slave mentality have a lot to do with wokeness?
Yeah, but yes, it is that. But this is a phenomenon I believe of you see mainline Protestantism going this way, and you see the Orthodox and the Catholic, and a lot of Protestants outside, but going, no, we need to actually be in charge, and we need to actually hold power, and we need to be as strong as possible, and we need to be fighting evil, and we need to, go out and conquer the world, even. But
I like the soup kitchen Christians. They're my favorite. I just, when they start like going out and conquering, much less of a fan. Although then again, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be in California if not for that impulse, would I? I wouldn't be living on a beautiful San Francisco Bay, you know, eating sushi, etc. If not for that impulse, this would still be an unsettled land.
Yeah. But I do want to say about New York City, I love what Eric Adams has done to the place.
Why is that? What'd you see?
It felt very, very safe. Everybody there is happy to be there. People are polite in New York City. Like everybody, from what I like. Yeah,
well, it's a business efficient politeness, right?
Yeah.
It's not. They're not going to go on about it, but they're going to be like, "Hey, man, sorry about that. Thank you." You know, but and then keep moving. You just got to keep moving.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, if you're paying attention to other people and like, you know, you got some, you know, if you understand where people are coming from and that everybody, it's a fast moving world and everybody has limited time to have as much fun as possible. So
here's New York City. So it's 20 million people, all of whom are going to an appointment right now. Do you notice? Like everybody's on their way to an appointment.
Sure.
I was always when I lived in Manhattan, I was always on my way to an appointment. I was always in a rush. I was always moving as fast as I could to get there. And that's for people who actually live there, not the tourists. And then you see the tourists, they're like water buffalo standing in your way on the sidewalk and you have to move around them or push through them to get to your appointment. You can immediately tell who lives in New York and who doesn't. But it's 20 million people who are going to an appointment.
Yeah, totally. But they get there pretty efficiently and they don't bother anybody as they're going, you know? Yeah, they don't.
They just don't want any trouble along the way to their appointment, right? Because the appointment's the point here.
The appointment's very important. Nothing could get in the way of that. Yeah.
It's the point. So you don't want to get into a fight on the street. If some weird freak walks by, you don't want to spend your time looking at him and gawking and saying, oh, wow. So you just keep walking. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. Totally. So what else did you do in New York?
I went to an Italian chain that's very popular in big cities. I'm not going to disclose the name. I'm not going to disclose the name because of what happens next.
Sbarro's. What?
I had my food. I enjoyed it, and then an older Italian couple came in. They were very happy, excited to be there. Asked to sit down next to me. We're very polite. They ordered a shot of espresso each. They poured their little thing of sugar pack, started stirring, took a sip of it, became deadly serious, talked to one another in Italian, and then left.
And got a divorce.
Yeah.
Was this the breakup? Maybe it was the breakup.
They're basically saying the espresso is so bad that we're not going to order anything else. Like, we know that the espresso is not how it's done in Italy. This is not Italian food. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was Sbarro's. It's an Italian name. Well, good. Let's go. And then they're like, "What the fuck?" Anyway, yeah. I love that city and I hate it. I love it so much and I hate it. I don't hate it so much. My hatred is definitely not as deep as my love, but it's a hell of a place. Glad you went.
No rats. Also, that's a big thing that Eric Adams has been fighting. I didn't see a single rat.
There's still rats in New York. There's definitely rats in New York. I had a rat jump on me. I had a rat chase me on the street.
Was that was that during the Eric Adams administration though?
No.
Yeah. See?
Good point.
See?
Good point. It was in the Giuliani administration.
Okay.
And he's the one who cleaned up the joint, not Eric Adams, as you know. What is Eric Adams? Has he actually accomplished anything? He did the you can't drive in downtown Manhattan anymore law.
That's kind of messed up. The locals hate that.
Kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. But, he's really, do you think he's actually literate, Eric Adams?
I would never hold,
Think he's ever read like a whole book, like beginning to end? Is what I mean.
I'm very in favor of illiterate politicians.
That would be interesting.
general,
Like
yeah.
if they couldn't read, you know, and they just like passed laws and they're like, whatever, fuck it. Can't read that shit, I'll sign it anyway. No, he's just one of the dumbest elected politicians in a major position in American history. He's in the Hall of Fame on that one. He's really, really stupid. That guy.
I think he's miles. I think he's miles ahead better than Andrew Cuomo, and miles ahead better than Zoran. And
that's not saying much.
It's not saying much. And yeah, I don't know. The city was great when I came into it, and I'm curious to see what will happen to it under Cuomo or Zoran. And it looks like in a two-way race, Cuomo beats Zoran pretty handedly, but the egos of Silva and Adams and Cuomo, to be honest, are really causing the destruction of that party. And yeah, potentially the city.
Not to mention all the money AIPAC is about to pour into that race to defeat Zoran. So I'm sure they will. Yeah. Yeah, we've had some stupid mayors. He's not the first, but he's the stupidest.
Yeah. But it dawned on me how much that this is really going to affect a lot of people's lives. I didn't think too much about it, you know. It's like just what one mayor. But if you look at the whole tri-state area and you look at just how much flows in and out of New York City, it might be the most important elected position, period.
Oh, mayor of New York's highly important. Yeah. I mean, well, it's just because it's the cultural capital of the world and the financial capital of the world.
Yeah.
Probably the intellectual capital of the world. I think, yeah, it is. It's still the dominant publishing city globally, not just in the US. So yeah, if you're the mayor, not that the mayor has control over those particular industries, but yeah, you're setting the tone, I guess.
Yeah, setting a tone, and you could fuck things up royally.
And you could drive people out. You could drive the publishers and the artists and the journalists and everybody else and the financiers out of New York if you do the wrong thing, right?
Yeah.
You could destroy it, which so far they haven't been able to quite. They've tried. They've gotten close a few times. The 70s was close. The 80s was pretty close when I first moved there. It was pretty damn close to going under, but yeah. We have more news.
Do you want to talk about the John Bolton raid?
How fun is that, huh?
I'm surprised we didn't talk about this at all over Icarus Fest. And
what could be better? What could be better than John Bolton getting raided by Kash Patel?
This was under the pretext of he might have classified documents, and that his memoir that he published in 2019 disclosed some classified information, and that he's been handling information
in his book.
Yeah,
he disclosed classified information in a book. Okay.
Yeah. And I think a judge ruled on this in 2020 that he had the right to publish what he published, but that some of it was sensitive classified information. I, like everybody else, have not read John Bolton's book. I think only the jury only the judge that was forced to read John Bolton's book has read it. But yeah.
Speaking of ships going under, the Trump administration, the MAGA movement, it's just the latest episode of self-immolation. They're just pouring gasoline all over themselves right now.
Bolton is not MAGA, and everybody hates John Bolton.
I know.
And everybody is so happy to see this happen. I think, again, this is what I wanted to ask everybody who is hating on Trump all week. Yeah. If you could switch a button 10 months ago, and if you flick that button, John Bolton gets raided in 10 months. And if you don't flick that button, nothing happens. Would you flick that button?
Just to fuck with him because we don't like him?
Yes. and potentially we find some pretense to throw him in jail and keep him away from power.
So apparently I have to talk about first principles with you. You're aware of this, right? Do you like the Constitution? You like the Bill of Rights and stuff?
that ship has sailed. The Bill of Rights, the Constitution, that
the
ship
Bill of
has
Rights
sailed.
has sailed.
Yes.
There's the
That
Bill of
ship
Rights.
is.
Yeah, I did see the Fourth Amendment like going downstream a while ago.
And
Mhm.
Donald Trump, John Bolton was very, very happy and said Donald Trump should trust the process when he had his house raided under the exact same premises under the Biden administration.
Man, are they ever going to raid my house? I'm feeling jealous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a sex tape in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of vibe to me,
Roger Stone.
It's super scandalous at the moment, but like 5 years from now, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, I got my house raided too. Yeah, I had a sex tape.
Yeah, CNN was there.
Sure, right, for my sex tape.
Yeah,
I was in my
went through the underwear drawer.
That's and the fact that they come out in their underwear. Yeah, it's sort of there's a merger here of my analogy.
Yeah, they come out in the underwear drawer, and the feds always go through the underwear drawer. So
I'm going to be ready, though. When they come to my house, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be well dressed. I'm going to be looking good. Going to have my camera angles all set up, and I'm going to have my speech ready, and my lawyer there, and we're going to have a press conference. The cameras will be rolling, the lights will be on as the SWAT team comes through my front door. So, yes, I want the world to know that we have been releasing classified information on this show. I have. Michael, don't leave Michael alone. Not him. I have. Mm-hmm. And if you doubt that, just listen to the show. You know that there's just so much classified information we've been releasing. So come and get me, baby. Mm-hmm. Everybody should want to get raided by the FBI.
Mm-hmm. So will Bolton be vindicated 5 years from now, or is he vindicated already as a persecuted victim of is he a political prisoner of Donald Trump's authoritarian fascist regime?
Yeah, of course. I mean, because he's a scumbag, imperialist, mass murderer. Like, okay, I'm not like crying about John Bolton, but like again, as a principle, my brother, this is not good. Violating that principle where the government can come bust on your door for no just cause. It's just saying, like, it's a good norm to have. I know it's been violated repeatedly in history, but there's always been a norm. People have fought back because of the norm, because of the language, the discourse, and the Bill of Rights. We've had that thing that occasionally has even been effective in courts, right? Has been some kind of a barrier to government power. No, you just wanted to do away with that and go full fash?
Well, I think before you can establish a level playing field of rules, I think you have to punish the people who violated them before. So you have to, the people who did it, the Biden administration and the Obamas have to suffer for violating it and for politically persecuting Trump and for starting all these wars and for, they have to do that. That has to happen before you can start anew. You have to know that this won't go unpunished. And now that we have power, we're going to do it right back at you. And I think the tit for tat thing, I know escalating violence and escalating tactics like this never goes wrong, but I mean, never ends up in a good place. But I don't really see it as escalating. I see it as operating in the government as it exists against targets who quite frankly deserve it.
Yeah, but it's an inter-elite rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with this. That's the problem. It's not you and me and the people raiding John Bolton's house. That I would be okay with. The torches and pitchforks thing, that's cool with me. I mean, if my son gets drafted into a war that John Bolton starts, I'm going to his house myself, right? It's a popular uprising. That's different than this. This is an inter-elite rivalry, which is, of course, as you well know, entirely about John Bolton being disloyal to Donald Trump and Donald Trump disliking that. And this is just revenge for that. Is there anything more? I mean, what are they thinking they're going to prosecute him on? What law do they think he's broken? Really, that they think they're going to win in court on?
Oh, that he was leaking information to journalists about the administration behind Trump's back while he was national security advisor, which is a huge breach of national security. And there might be a serious lead on this if you know, like, come on, John Bolton was probably talking to The Atlantic or talking to somebody about how awful
okay.
Trump is, you know, and how
Oh,
Trump's
that's
going to end
spicy.
all the wars. That's
That's
probably,
spicy.
yeah.
But again, dude, think about the principle there. We want that happening. We want leakers. We want leakers.
I don't want
So why
John
would you
Bolton
want
as my leaker.
I want leaks. I want leakiness. I want it to be a sieve. Why do you want to punish someone who like divulges state secrets?
Because it's
fantastic.
Okay. So this is another thing about Kissinger. The privacy. He hated Watergate because it jeopardized the Vietnam negotiations. To negotiate with Vietnam, with Russia, with China, you need to have an understanding that there aren't going to be leaks, that you can trust us to keep things shut, that we could have secret negotiations. And he said there were a lot of negotiations that Vietnam protesters were demanding to have happen that were happening, but they were happening in secret behind closed doors that they couldn't divulge to the public because China, Russia, Vietnam need to trust us. Korea needs to trust us. And so national security works at this level. Okay. Yeah. And I could see John Bolton being subversive to peace talks and subversive to positive things that were in favor of happening within the government. Sure. And by all means, if we can, prosecute him for that.
Sure. But there can also be leaks and leakers that facilitate a peace process too. There can be
in which
leaks.
Case, yeah. Pardon Assange. I'm all for pardoning Assange, but
yeah,
you know, yeah.
I don't want anything other than transparency with governments. I don't see a reason. Their wars never serve me, which is the only time they really need secrecy is wartime, right? There's nothing else. Not really. In terms of major policy.
Yeah, but to untangle the knot of the war, I think you also need secrecy.
No. The Viet Cong need to win. That's how you untangle the war. No, you mean in the negotiations, the diplomatic negotiations to end a war?
Yeah,
those need to be sealed off.
Yeah, I
suppose.
I think you know, Putin needs to know that there's nobody else in this room but him and Trump. You know, Witkoff. You know
why? No, Putin doesn't need anything. He needs only one thing, which is for the West to acknowledge that he's won the war. Like I said, oh, by the way, I didn't mention Russia as part of the resistance, right? Russia will defeat the U.S. empire. It's part of the resistance I was talking about. It's a major force, obviously. It's going to be the troops, the Russian troops, the Iranian troops, the Hamas troops, the Hezbollah troops who are going to defeat the American empire. They're the ones who are going to close those bases. They're going to force us to withdraw our troops. They're going to force us to cut our military expenditures, all the things that all of us want. We're not going to do it. Those guys are going to do it. So, yeah, man, that's what happens. That's how wars end. It's not because of negotiations are particularly well organized, you know, or well concealed. Is that why Japan surrendered? Was because like MacArthur had it all set up that nothing would be leaked from those negotiations? No, it's because they got their country annihilated by nuclear bombs and fire bombs and all the rest, right? No, I mean, it's a hard equation in the military. Unfortunately, it's just who kills more.
I think the United States, if that's really what it boils down to, the United States could do a lot more killing.
Gotcha.
Like they did in Japan.
Transparency in government is a really tough question. It's one of the hardest questions in political science. I remember dealing with this, like one of my essays at the LSE in poli-sci. I remember noting at the time, even though I was like a little dipshit 21-year-old, like, wow, that is tough. Like during a war, do we allow the government to keep things secret from us? Gee, I guess we need to, because during a war, I could get killed if we don't, we could all get killed in our country if we let out our secrets or let the enemy know what we're planning, etc. No, no, not anymore. I don't buy any of that anymore. No, I want to know everything the government's doing in Iraq and Afghanistan and Israel and Vietnam. Yeah, no, I wish we had known everything about Vietnam. Don't we all? Don't we all wish the Vietnam War were completely transparent? Yeah. The problem with the Iraq War was we didn't have real journalists in the field doing real reporting. They were all embedded. We didn't know. It was a very opaque war. We didn't know what they were thinking until later. Then we found out that the neocons were telling Bush and Cheney what to do, etc. But we didn't know at the time. And that's kind of, everybody wishes that they were more transparent. So I don't think you win this one, dude.
I just don't see a world where I don't want John Bolton to get his house raided.
Right, exactly. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. You're just mad.
I'm not mad.
I'm sorry, your butt hurt. What is the difference? What exactly is butt hurt? It's one of my least favorite millennial terms. But Bolton is a maniac, and that's a word that I really think should be applied to him. I mean, he has been maniacal in his hatred and fear and belligerence toward foreign states. I mean, his entire career. It's just there isn't a foreign state, basically, he hasn't wanted to go to war with. I mean, that was a rival of the U.S. Any rival of the U.S., he has called for openly a war with them. From Venezuela to Iran to China to Russia. Remarkable career. And the thing is, he's done it. He's very, very smart. He's very articulate, quite a good intellectual. I think he's a very good writer. That guy is really smart. Great debater. Tremendous speaker. I mean all this, the neocons, and he's not a neocon, actually, by the way. We can get into that. But people like him, the ultra hawks, the neocons, the people we hate, they're not stupid. So, I have a grudging admiration for Walrus Stash. But my main concern here, and actually my only concern here, is the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights, as I have said, is a social construct that I like. Yes, it's just a text. It's a social construct. It is not an expression of universal absolute values given to us by God. It's just a bunch of dudes said, hey, we should have these rules. And the thing is, I happen to like those rules. I just happen to.
Second Amendment.
Yo. I have mixed feelings about it, but I still am for it. Yes.
Just happened today. Another story that, so sad, makes me want to puke. The Minneapolis shooting.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Man, I remember when this summer started, I thought, can we get through this summer without a mass shooting? And then on the first day of school, it was the first day of school. This guy, and he shot them through the window from outside.
First of all, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. That.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Yeah. You used the word he, and CNN also used the word he.
Oh.
And CNN used the word he against their own journalistic standards of style practice, because this was a transgender individual.
Was
legally had the name changed and legally had the gender changed to her. And so this is part of it that's being omitted.
I did not know that
in mainstream media. Yeah. And if you're on Twitter, the right is blowing up about this because, there's this, and then there's the Tennessee shooter a couple years ago. And I think, I'm not 100% sure about it, but I think Charlie Kirk has been calling for some red flag laws along the lines of, if you see a mentally ill person, there's quite authoritarian language happening as a result to this, where people see transgenders as absolutely mentally ill, that the ship has sailed on that that affirming them is cruelty to them, and they're on all sorts of hormones and psychoactive drugs.
That's true.
And if you've ever been on Reddit or Discord in the last 5 to 10 years, you know that there are no shortage of psychopathic ideologues aligned with the transgender movement.
True.
And that this was something I've been wanting to talk about ever since basically the election cycle last year, is that the left seems to be losing its mental grip, and as they're losing power, they have to turn towards violence, and they're losing a mental grip on reality. And as outsiders, they're turning towards violence. You've seen a much more violent ideology of the left in the last few years. In the last year, there's been the ICE shootings with ghost guns by Trantifa and Antifa members.
No ICE agent has been killed, right?
No ICE agent has been killed, but there have been ICE agents shot at. Yeah,
really?
Only out of incompetence. I think this was in Texas. I forget where exactly.
And against that.
Yeah. So regardless of who,
not.
Yeah. There's the Luigi Mangione thing, and there's the culture of assassins, and it's not an uncommon sentiment to see "Is he dead yet?" on bumper stickers, or open calls for assassination within left-wing circles, and glorifying violence within left-wing circles. Me personally, I'm starting to open up to rethinking the Second Amendment to disarm my political enemies and the people who hate this country.
Trannies.
Sure. Whoever. I think I'd be open to a lot of targeted laws to take guns out of the hands of people on psychoactive drugs, hormone replacement, people who have expressed certain political opinions, people who have expressed online calls to violence, and people who I see might be in bad mental health that I don't agree with politically.
No, but back to the ICE thing.
Yeah.
What if it's an undocumented immigrant who has lived in the United States for 20 years and has worked diligently the entire time and raised his family here and has multiple children? Some of them serve in the U.S. military. This is a very common portrait, by the way, I'm depicting of an undocumented immigrant family. This is not uncommon. In fact, that guy who was taken down in the Home Depot parking lot in San Diego, I think it was, had 2 sons in the Marine Corps. What if I'm that guy and you're coming to take me and my sons and my wife and put us on a plane, and with the Trump administration, we could end up in Uganda or in El Salvador, a place we're not even in a prison. We could end up in a prison in another country we've never been in. Yeah, I'm going to get a gun, bro. I'm going to get a gun. I'm going to shoot the fuckers in the face if they're coming for us. Wouldn't you? This is so American. This is, again, why is the American ethos going back to the founding fathers in many ways is on the side of those undocumented immigrants fighting against this controlling, colonizing power. Are you kidding? Like, especially people who have contributed so tremendously to this country, economically contributing to the military even. And yeah, if the ICE agents come to ruin our lives after we've done all this, yeah. I'm picking up a rifle. I don't see why you wouldn't.
There's a lot of hypotheticals to accept in that.
But those are very common stories for undocumented immigrants. That's actually the norm. What I just described. In fact, every undocumented immigrant I've ever known is exactly like that. Exactly like that. That's very common. You know that, right? They're not all MS-13. I mean, the 90+% are just, they come here and they stay very quiet and very low because they know they'll be deported if they break a law. or even break a norm. If they're like noisy on the subway or like, play their radio at a park or something. They can't. They know that they won't. They tend not to do that because they know they could get deported. These are the safest, best Americans we have. It's very clear to me. So yeah, then the Second Amendment, and a well-armed militia, that's them. Really, dude. Like I don't like. So yes, okay. So mental. So let's bracket that for a second.
Okay.
But how about laws? So, like, as someone who's certified to be insane, and that's a tricky one too. But like someone like this shooter today in Minneapolis, you want to do a law for that? You want to stop? Is that what you're getting at?
I'm saying I'm an impartial reporter. I'm Walter Cronkite here.
No, you're not. You're proposing public policy.
I am reporting that there are conversations being had on the pro-Second Amendment side. On the right wing that is traditionally pro-Second Amendment that is saying we should disarm our enemies.
Oh. Okay.
And the Second Amendment, a pure interpretation of the Second Amendment, where everybody gets guns and gun maximalism is sort of falling apart potentially in the right wing. The chat is saying non-citizens shouldn't be allowed to have guns. That's a huge fight on Twitter for the Second Amendment.
It's a weird idea. Okay. I love that. Like we think these are universal values, right? Everyone should have gun rights except these people here. It's amazing. I mean, people think about the Declaration of Independence as a universal document, right? It is. It's a universal statement. He doesn't say only Americans should have these rights. He says all men. He doesn't say where. He doesn't name a country in the whole thing. Look at the Declaration. It doesn't say any country. It's not about America even. It doesn't mention America. It doesn't mention the colonies. Well, it's all men. It's a universal doctrine. So we have since then assumed that the intention behind the Bill of Rights was also universal. I mean, of course, we can't control the laws in other countries, but that these are ideas that we hold to be universal. Michael Weimer, you're a Christian. These have been deemed to be God-given rights. That's been the argument. The right to bear arms has been considered in American history. Again, this is all very, very American. Considered to be a God-given right. And you want to abrogate God's right for certain people who you deem to be your enemy?
So the preamble of the Constitution includes the phrase, for our people and our posterity.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
You're right. And there is a tension. Yeah. There is a tension in the founding documents. No, there is. It's a fascinating tension between a universalism and a nationalism. You're right.
Yeah.
But the founding documents, I would say, are generally universalistic. Certainly the Declaration. And don't you think the intention, well, maybe not. The intention behind the Bill of Rights was not, didn't Jefferson and company think these are things that all men should have, these rights?
I think they are rights enumerated to prevent the federal government from doing something on those particular issues. I think at the state level, you can have laws that violate the Second Amendment, the First Amendment. I think you can have speech laws, and I think they are not. I think the Bill of Rights only prohibits the actions of the federal government. It does not prohibit the acts of the state government. And if state governments have state constitutions that allow them to do so, they can take away those liberties.
Right. All right. So you're going to disarm your enemies. And does that include like Democrats and liberals? And
yeah, I think you'd have to, there's a number of loyalty tests that I would like to administer before giving a gun out. Yes. And wouldn't we all? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it sounds like a really fun civil war. I'm just going to take a long vacation when you start it. Okay. I'll just let me know when you're ready to go and I'll go to Costa Rica. You guys have your civil war. It's going to be a great time. And I'll come back when it's all settled. Okay. Just let me know which state wins, and which state loses, and I'll choose accordingly. So, well, thank you. That's a very constructive proposal. Disarm Michael's enemies. I like it. Can we disarm my enemy? Can you disarm my enemies too?
If you get political power, you can You can
Well, the thing
petition
is
for
with
it.
me,
Yeah.
you're actually a bit of a bitch. I want to kill my enemies. Why do you just
Yeah.
want to disarm them?
Because I'm a loving Christian, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
I remember that. Right. Okay. It's all coming back to me now. It's all
Yeah.
making sense. Well, this has been fun, truly.
Oh, and yeah, I
Yes.
brought up the ice thing because
Oh, right.
one of the people who fired on the ice raid, it wasn't an ice raid, but who fired on ice, the raid that happened on ice,
Is my
uh,
hero. Yeah. And
your hero might have seen our show, might have seen that Cody Wilson ad that we did.
goodbye, everybody. See you later. It's been a great show. Bye, everybody.
And
Cancel this.
there
Goodbye.
were people who were members of the John Brown Gun Club, and they did use a 3D printed gun in that instance.
Wait a minute. What? I
A
didn't know
3D
this.
printed gun used by a
Why?
member of somebody who has trained with the John Brown Gun Club,
Houston?
fired upon ice
Or
agents.
Dallas, right?
I forget exactly where this is. I think this
Texas.
was in Texas, but yeah.
Yeah,
Fired
John
upon
Brown
ice
is in
agents.
Texas.
Yeah.
Those are black guys. That's a black gun club.
It's
not immigrants.
I think it's a leftist gun club. I think it's
it's
leftist.
black. No, it's black national.
Well, the people who were
Oh.
arrested for this weren't very black, if I remember correctly.
Then they're not John Brown Gun Club.
Okay.
That's a black.
I
It's a black
said
nationalist.
not members, but have trained with.
Oh
So,
yeah, okay.
yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
I'm off the hook. I only support the black nationalist gun nuts. So,
Mhm.
wow, that's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's,
I think I chose well in my
It's,
alliances.
It
Okay. Peace.
just puts things in
They were
perspective.
featured. Well, so wait, no, we actually featured them. I did a video. That's right. God, a while ago, but I did a whole documentary with Reason TV on those gun clubs, and John Brown Gun Club was one of them. So yes,
Mhm.
I kind of know those guys. I know that scene. Oh wow, I got to check. I didn't know this. I got to look into this. All right, comrade.
Yeah.
We got to go. Do that. Show
Yeah.
the link. We're going to do the after show now. We hang out on Zoom, Michael and I. And it's just a good time every Wednesday night, immediately after Unreported. And if you want to join us, all you got to do is become a member or a subscriber to the Substack here. ThaddeusRussell.substack.com. Super cheap. The link to the after show is right now on that Substack, only for paid subscribers. So if you do that, you can just click there and you'll see the link to the Zoom room where we will be. Hope to see you. Plus, you should just support the damn show. And that's it, man. Next year, Icarus is going to be lit. Sir.
And the Unregistered interview show lives at ThaddeusRussell.substack.com. So
everything is now at Substack. And by the way, there's going to be an awesome, a lot of people listening will love this. I interviewed Mark Pennington, who is the political scientist at King's College London, who just came out with a book attempting to merge Foucault with Hayek, postmodernism with libertarianism. And we had the most amazing conversation, and that'll be released tomorrow for paid subscribers on Substack. So yeah, no, it's really fun. So
great.
There we are, man. Okay, I'll see you at the after show.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.
Come on.